everybody, this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. It is the 23rd of April 2020. It is about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I am in Terrell, Texas. It's 82 degrees out here. It's a beautiful day. I am at the Travel Center of America, TA, out here. I just finished my run. I had a run that went from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, out here to Terrell, Texas. Dropped it off. They unloaded me pretty quick. I had gotten a message on my Qualcomm that the trailer I was pulling was due for a DOT inspection. So they sent me over here, and now I got to wait about 3.5, 4 hours to get that done. So it doesn't look like I'm going anywhere else today, but it should be a decent. It should be all right. You know, we'll probably end up shutting down here. We shut down last night at. When I talk about me, I would talk about me and Emily Rose, my truck. If you haven't been following me, but we shut down last night at a Quick Trip just down the road. That was really nice. Really nice place. I mean, there's not a lot of parking spaces, only about 15, 20 parking spaces, but the food there is great. If you ever get a chance to get a custom-made grilled cheese there at Quick Trip, do it. It was really good. I got the grilled cheese BLT. It was excellent. So anyway, I haven't been posting very much, and you guys know that who've been following me. I made a decision a little while ago. Just you know, I had bought a new camera, and of course I ended up messing that thing up. Bought a second one, and I'm just really having trouble using it to edit videos. It makes these real small clips, and it's hard to string them together. And if you don't push the save button as you're driving or whatever, you don't push it at the right time or whatever, it won't necessarily save part of the clip. And so I got these like holes in clips that I want. So I may try to still put together some of that footage, but it's just making it a little rough. So instead, what I decided to do is just go back to where I started and talk a little bit about what's going on out here, what my life's like, what my life on the road with my truck, what's going on in the country, that kind of stuff from my perspective. Hopefully you'll follow along. I had a guy stop me at where we delivered. I delivered at the Walmart distribution center here, and just as I was getting done, another Stevens truck came up, and the guy, I said hi to him, and he says, "Hey, you're on YouTube, right? You've got that channel." And I watch it, and my buddies watch it, and I said, and he asked me why, you haven't been posting lately, and I told him why, and he said, "No, you need to go back and start posting again." So I told him I am, and I am. So I'm going to try to do this. It's a lot easier for me right now. When I get one of the other the old style cameras like I had, I'll start doing it again. But with everything that's going on out there in the country, getting one of those cameras is really tough right now. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to just take me some time, but then I'll get back to it. But I did want to talk a little bit about what's going on, because there's a lot of people that are talking about being very grateful to truck drivers right now, and that's great. I mean, there's a lot of good enthusiasm, and truck drivers have stepped up to the plate. Overall, they've limited their home time. They've run harder. They've run extra hours when they can, and the law allows them, and regulations allow them to. They've done a lot of these runs because they felt like I do, like this is my part in this. I may not be a doctor or a nurse or any of that like that, but just like the people that work in grocery stores and that kind of stuff are on that line, and they feel like that is their job, and they got to work hard to make sure you guys are taken care of. And thank you to those guys as well. truck drivers have the same feeling. That's why I haven't gone home in the last almost 3 months. And I told my DM, that my driver manager, that I don't plan on going home until this thing settles down. And there's a few reasons. One is that I feel like this is my part. This is my thing. You know? This is my part of, what I can do to help. The second part is, is it possible that I could pick up the virus or something and not feel it or whatever and take it home and give it to people? Absolutely. I'm around all sorts of different people. I mean, we social distance, and people are starting to wear masks more. I've got one in my pocket. I keep one in my, that kind of stuff, and that. But you don't know. You don't know who might have it, who might not have it. So I'm out here and I'm trying to trying to do my part, and I'm going to run as hard as I can, as long as I can, until this settles down, and then I'm going to go home and spend a little bit of time at home. But for right now, that's my thing. But some truck drivers out there, as in certain areas, freight's been drying up, and it's just a part of this. I mean, even if you're, we run mostly food. I mean, I think I've run one non-food load in the last, since this thing started, and it was just a couple loads ago, where I ran a ton of paper products. But one non-food load. We run food almost, we run refrigerated almost exclusively, but food or that kind of stuff Stevens does. But only the stuff that's going to your shelf is really moving. So the stuff that is packaged for retail sale, that stuff's still moving. But all the stuff that's packaged for restaurant use and that kind of stuff, that stuff's not moving the way it was. So because of that, there's certain areas that are starting to dry up, and even in our lanes, we're starting to see a little bit of that. Now, I'm a company driver, which means I'm going to make what I make for every mile I drive. That's what I'm making. The company deals with that, whatever they're going to pay, but that's my rate, and that's what I get. And I drive as many miles as I can, and I try to make as much as I can, and I've been doing pretty well. I've been, for a company driver, I've been doing pretty well. But there's a lot of people who are either owner-operators or lease operators that they're struggling a little bit. I'm out here in the parking lot, and I don't want to get into it out here. we're gonna head back to the truck and get out of this heat a little bit, and we'll pick up this conversation in a second. Hey everybody, so we've got we're just outside, and it just started to get a little warm out there. It's almost 85 degrees out there. I just came from where it was cold and rainy, so made it even a little bit hotter. But I just got a Stevens truck passing me, truck 33221. Man, my trainer's truck was 33220. He's not with the company anymore, but he's out there driving for Prime now. Anyway, I want to talk about, I wanted to get out of the heat, but I also wanted to get away from people that just, I had a couple people come up and talk to me. I don't have a lot of subscribers, but I do have people who see my channel, and I guess I have a memorable face, so people come up sometimes and they ask, and it's amazing. Today I've had 3 people ask me if I have a YouTube channel, and didn't hurt that I was filming something, so they just asked, but it seems like they've seen it. So but I wanted to talk about this whole thing that's going on and truck drivers and how it's affecting, or it seems like it, at least from my perspective. And my perspective may be different because I'm still relatively new to the profession. I've been in out here for the better part of 6 months, going on 6 months. That's not a lot. I mean, you see my cousin Trucker G's been out here 28 years. Other people have been out here a lot longer. But from my perspective, and see, my perspective is going to be from not just that of a truck driver, but that who've been in different roles, okay, different parts of life. You know, I mean, if this has been your livelihood the entire time, thank you for running all this stuff, and thank you for everything that you've done. It's not an easy life. It's you know, it can be a rough life, but thank you. But I also want to look at it from the side of somebody who's been in the military, somebody who's been out there working other jobs and that kind of stuff, and let you see that. But I want to talk really quick. I want to just talk about, go back, you know, I know we've talked about this before, but you got to look, there's basically 3 categories of drivers, or 3 different kind of things. You've got company drivers like I am. I am an employee of Stevens Transport, okay? They pay me for every mile I drive. Sometimes they'll pay me bonuses for this or that or the other, but for every mile I drive, I get a certain amount of money. And the more miles I drive, the more money I make. Now, you have what are, you know, I don't pay for the truck, I don't pay for the fuel, I don't pay for the maintenance. If I were to get in an accident or something and I was at fault, I may pay a percentage of that. It's not the full thing, but I may pay some of that. But if I were to blow a tire or whatever, because I'm not going to pay for that. It's not coming out of my check. It's not. I don't have to pay somewhere else. I don't pay for any of that. Because of that, I give up some freedoms about, you know, what routes I can take, what places I can stop and get fuel, all this stuff like that. So that's the nature of the game. Now, the other part, and if you watch my channel, that I've been going back and forth, and I made a decision, I'll talk about that later, as far as becoming a lease contractor. Okay, that's somebody who leases a vehicle from the company that they're working for. Okay, that's what we're talking about. You can lease a vehicle from a private leasing company that's not affiliated with who you're driving for, but that's a little bit different. That's almost, to me, that's similar to being an owner-operator, as far as the fact that you're paying somebody else, not the people you're driving for your vehicle. But if you're a lease operator, at least for Stevens Transport and other places, you're making still a per mileage. For every mile you're making a certain amount, but you're making more than what I'm making, okay? And you're also, but you're making a vehicle payment every single week. You're paying for the fuel that you use. You're paying for the maintenance on your vehicle. You're paying for all of that difference. You're paying for tolls. You're paying for taxes, for license plates, for all of that stuff you're paying for. And every week you got to pay that. If you take time off, you don't make anything during the week, you still have to pay that. So you have to have some money set aside for that. If you don't drive enough miles to pay your note, then you owe more money. Then you're going to be in the hole the next week to start, because you have to pay that note. If I don't drive for a week, then I don't make any money, but I'm not in the hole any money either. Well, except for just, I'm paying a little bit of money because Stevens paid for me to go to school for my CDL and stuff like that. But that's the only thing I'm in the hole for. Nothing else. Not a truck payment, not anything like that. Or some companies you drive as a lease operator, you're making a percentage of whatever that load makes. My buddy Mark that drives, that's what he makes. He makes a percentage. There's a lot of companies who do that. Then you have owner operators, and those are people that own their vehicle. They're either buying it from a secondary place, or they paid it off and they own that vehicle. That's people like my cousin Trucker G, and some other people that I know. My great grand trainer, if you want to put it, or my grand trainer, James, who works for Stevens, but he owns his vehicle. He owns that vehicle. Now, for Stevens, you're still making a mile per miles, but you're not paying all the other. You are paying for fuel. The biggest difference in that is that you don't you don't have to pay a weekly payment to the company for that vehicle. Other people who are owner operators who lease on to companies, they may make per mile, they may make part of a load. There are some people who run independent who do owner operators, and they pay all their stuff, but they'll negotiate rates, or their brokers will negotiate rates. I don't know exactly 100% how, in that side, but they'll make money in a different way. They rarely make per mile, unless they lease onto a company that does that. But for the most part, if they're out there on their own or whatever, they're making a percentage of a load, and that could be different things. Okay. Well, here's the thing right now. While everybody's very, very thankful for truck drivers, and we should be, not just because I'm a truck driver now, but we should be, for everything that they've always brought us and done for us and everything, we should be very happy with them, very thankful for them. But right now, freight is drying up in certain areas. Okay, I just got a message for a pre-plan. I haven't sat for more than about half a day waiting for a load. Maybe a day waiting for a load to pick up. I just got a pre-plan that's not going to pick up until the day after tomorrow. Okay, so until the day after tomorrow. And then it's not running that far. It's not running really short, but it's not running that far. And that's just because right now there's not any loads for us getting out of the Dallas market. So that's where I'm at right now in Terrell, Texas, in the Dallas market, and there's nothing getting out of here. So they got me also on the list for repowers if somebody needs a repower to try to get me out of here, because they know I run and I run hard, and they want to get me running, but they're just trying to find something to get me running for. So anyway, that's what we're looking at, okay? And that's what, as far as, there's certain areas where it's getting harder to find loads. Now, Stevens Transport runs refrigerated. I mentioned that earlier. But there's a whole part of that refrigerated food stuff kind of thing that's not really moving right now, and that's all the restaurant stuff. It's not moving the way that it normally does. The stuff that used to go to schools, all that kind of stuff, that's not moving. It's sitting places. Even I've read people, who work in the dairy industry, there's places they're having to destroy milk or find other ways to do, because they can't sit on it. They can't just tell cows, hey, quit giving milk. You've got so much place to keep it, and once you're done with that, there's no other place to keep it. So you got to destroy it or find a way to give it away, and even that is hard, because these places can't survive either. At least if they can do it as a loss if they need to, or I don't know how, tax-wise or whatever, but there's issues like that. Then the other part is, because there's certain parts of the, certain things that aren't moving, some flatbed stuff, anything that's sort of optional kind of things, that we've gotten so used to. A lot of that stuff's not moving right now. I don't see that many vehicle haulers out here right now either. And because of that, rates are starting to fall, or at least that's a contributor, or that's an excuse that people are giving, that rates for independent contractors and people who get paid like that are starting to fall. So what do? Well, you've got a group that's out there that there's two groups out there. There's a group that just wants to protest, and they want to get acknowledged and everything, and that's fine. That's part of our rights to go ahead and to do that, to protest peacefully, to go, they want to meet. I think I read that May 1st or something, there's a bunch of them going to meet in Chicago. I think my cousin's gonna be up there and everything, and if I was an independent contractor and had some control, maybe I'd go up there and I'd help, and I'd protest as well to support people. Peaceful protest. And lawmakers and everybody else should support that and should help these truck drivers out. But there's another group out there that's advocating everybody just stop. Every truck driver just stop. Park your truck wherever you're at, whether you're in the middle of a road, whether you're on the side of a road, whether whatever, stop and don't move it until things change. And I'm sorry, for me personally, and you can be mad, you can unsubscribe, whatever, that's wrong. It's 100% wrong. They want to, even if they go, oh, we don't really want to, we just want to threaten it to scare people. That's just as wrong. There's no difference to that than threatening, than what terrorists do is threaten people. To me, there's no difference. This is a time of national emergency. I haven't seen my family, a lot of truck drivers haven't seen their family in weeks or months. I haven't seen my family in nearly 3 months, 2.5 months. Why? Because I feel like my job, my part of supporting, I may not be a doctor or a nurse or whatever, but my job is to drive this whatever I have to drive to make sure that everybody or some people can get what they need. That's my job. Now, I may not be making, and I feel sorry for the people who are struggling or whatever, and hopefully that'll work out. But threatening to stop everything and asking for people to do that is ridiculous. If that's what you want to do, go find another job. Find something else. That's just not right. Like I said, go peaceful protest. Go draw attention to it. You want to go around and ask truck drivers to honk their horns all over this country? Feel free to. I'll be sitting on my horn like everybody else. You want people to try to draw attention? Find a way to do that other than threatening people and scaring people, because that's what you're asking to do. That's what you're asking to do, is to scare people to do what you want them to do. You can draw attention to how hard it is and everything else and how hard people are working and everything. But to scare them, to try, even threaten to scare them in order to get what you want, that's ridiculous. If somebody did that to your family, you'd be just irate, and rightfully so. So the people that are going to peacefully protest, if you're going to be in Chicago on May 1st, like I've heard it and everything else, good for you. Go up there and protest. Make your signs, show solidarity that way. That's not threatening people. That's not scaring people. It's drawing attention to an issue that needs to be fixed. But these idiots that I keep reading who are pushing, and that, luckily they're getting so much blowback from truck drivers that are telling them that they're stupid, but they keep putting it out there, and it's starting to make me mad. So, that said, realize that this is an issue. So, when people are talking about it, realize that these people that are away from their families are struggling right now too. They are. There's a lot of truck drivers who aren't moving. There's a lot of truck drivers that have been laid off, and there's some companies that are going in business. It was before this happened that was happening, but it's gotten even worse. So just like that we're worried about our small businesses at home not reopening, not being able to survive, and I hope that all my friends and everybody who's got one, that they find a way to make that survive. These guys who own these trucks, who are owner-operators and are lease operators, are small businesses themselves. They are small business owners themselves. And they need that support as well.
Attention, a new important message has arrived.
Sorry, we'll check that in a minute. But you need to realize and support them too, because they're going to go out of business just the same if we don't support them and make sure that they're getting paid what they need to get paid. It's not the only, there's so many things that you know, that make me so irate about this whole thing, what's going on. All the stuff that's been going on in the stock market, it's like these are the people that, you know, I mean, suck it up and support the country too. I mean, instead of scaring everybody and making everybody worried too, you know. I understand your job is out there to try to make some money, but at the same time, not at the you know, at the expense of everybody else as well. Anyway, I'm just going to digress and get way off track, and I probably already am. But I just want you to realize where my perspective is. You know, we need to support these drivers. We need to be, you know, if you have a Facebook page or whatever, on the first, if you can't be in Chicago, post on there in support of people who are protesting. Let people know about that. But as far as the idiots who are saying, let's just stop working, let's stop running freight, and let people suffer, or at least threaten that we're going to let people to suffer, those guys can just go jump in the lake. Those people can just find something else to do. Because now's the time that you got to sometimes just suck it up and do what you need to do. I mean, fine, like I said, protest if you need to protest, and I'm 100% supportive of you protesting, but not at the point of these guys going, we're just going to scare people, you know. It just makes me so mad. Anyway, I truly hope you're being safe out there. I hope everybody in your family is healthy. I hope you're taking the time to, while this is tough and it's rough, to enjoy what you can. Enjoy your family. Enjoy being around them. Find things to do together. Have dinner together. Have breakfast together. Have whatever. Just do that kind of stuff because you have the opportunity right now. Enjoy that. Because life is going to come back, and you know, and what's going to come back, it's going to get busy really, really quickly. And the last thing you want to do is go, why did I not take advantage of the time that I had to spend with family or whatever, or learn a new language or whatever you want to do, but take the time, okay? And enjoy it. And God bless. This is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. I am in Terrell, Texas, and I'm driving for Stevens Transport. I hope you guys stay safe. I'll talk to you later.